The 27th of March was a sad day for gaming fans, as the Nintendo eShop officially closed down for good on all 3DS and Wii U devices. For the 3DS specifically, this marks the end of purchases on what is one of the greatest handheld consoles of all time. With 6 different models in the family, a large collection of games, as well as backwards compatibility with the Nintendo DS line, the 3DS certainly brought a lot to the table. In this video, we're going to talk about the history of the 3DS, exactly what you can do with it now that the eShop has been shut down, and what the future of the console may look like. Hey guys, Joe here from Techno, and I absolutely love the Nintendo 3DS family of consoles. First launched in 2011, the 3DS was a generational upgrade of the huge seller that was the Nintendo DS family. It would be a big task for Nintendo to create a console that would compete with a handheld that sold almost 155 million units, but they certainly kept up the momentum. That being said, the 3DS did have quite a slow start as a result of a lackluster lineup of launch titles. The console would go on to sell 75.94 million units overall, which would have certainly helped Nintendo through the disaster that was the Wii U's launch. 6 models of the 3DS launched in the console's lifespan, all of which were different in their own ways. Very much like the base model of the Nintendo DS, the first iteration of the 3DS is very chunky, compared to the more refined design of future versions. It followed the same design style as the DS, but featured a 3D depth effect slider, a flat joystick known as the Circle Pad, and an improved operating system to that of the DSi's. However, following poor sales performance in the first 6 months, Nintendo had to cut the price of the console down and offer early purchasers 20 free retro games to make up for it. It certainly wasn't an easy start for Nintendo with the 3DS, but things would get better. Fast forward to July 2012 and the 3DS XL is released across Europe. With a bigger screen and battery as well as thinner casing, the upgraded version of the console was a huge hit, despite the 3D gimmick of the console not being a hugely popular feature of the device. Nintendo caught on to this trend and created a value version of the 3DS without its 3-dimensional capabilities or its folding hinge, conveniently called the 2DS. The 2DS was a very strange device, as it broke the clamshell design formula that Nintendo had been following since the Game Boy Advance SP era, which released before the DS. Despite not owning a 2DS personally, I have used this device in the past, and found that it was quite comfortable to hold but a little bit strange. Fast forward to February 2015 and Nintendo launched the new 3DS and the new 3DS XL in Europe, both devices are considered to be the peak of the Nintendo 3DS family. These devices were considered to be design evolutions of the 3DS XL, ditching all the original 3DS design elements and adding some quality of life updates. These updates included improved 3D with face tracking, so your eyes would no longer hurt when you weren't looking at the screen face on. Furthermore, ZL and ZR buttons alongside the L and R buttons were added, as well as a C-stick for extra movement functionality, a new location for the start and select buttons familiar to those of the DS family, as well as amiibo support, faster loading speeds and more. But the most unique feature came to the smaller model, faceplates, a customization option that allows you to change the way your new 3DS looks via easily removable plastic covers. Faceplates were a very underappreciated part of the new 3DS model, and have become quite hard to find. The XL version seemed to be a lot more popular based on the way the second-hand market currently looks, which as a result has made new in-box faceplates quite valuable. It would be another 2 years until Nintendo moved on to the final product in the range, the new 2DS XL. This was the second 2DS in the family, but the first to feature a hinged design like its 3D alternative. The new 2DS XL had a relatively cheap build quality, but was one of the most sleek designs out of all of the systems. It had the same quality of life features of the new 3DS and the new 3DS XL, but without the 3D slider. The entire 3DS range was sadly discontinued in 2020, however the legacy of the console still lives on to this day, and likely will for the next few years. A lot of you, myself included, may have spent some money on the 3DS eShop in the last year or month anticipating the day that the eShop finally closes. Thankfully for us, our games are safe as Nintendo is keeping functionality on the eShop to be able to re-download software that we have deleted or install updates that we haven't got yet. This means that any games that you may buy physically from now on are going to be playable in their most recent state. Furthermore, online access is still available for games that provide these features, such as Super Smash Bros, Pokemon, Mario Kart 7 and more, though this may change in the future. I anticipate the value of 3DS consoles to go down now that the eShop is closed, since the frenzy to purchase new games before the eShop shuts down has died away. That being said, I do see some of the rarer games going up in price as they become a bit harder to find. I'm going to continue to purchase new games physically for my 3DS so that I have a full collection at some point in the future. While this is an area that I have no experience in personally, I know the modding community for the 3DS has done some incredible things. Whether you want to play custom games, install your own themes that you've designed yourself, or even change the colour of the console's LED lights, I know a lot of 3DS users have considered modding their device. There are other tools made available by modding your 3DS too, such as accessing a custom eShop, creating save backups, and dumping games files so you don't need to have the cartridges on you. However, there can be legal grey areas to this, and this video is purely informative, and not advice on what to do with your consoles. Here at Techno, we do not encourage piracy and don't believe this is what modding your 3DS should be used for. Please do not pirate your games. Despite this, the benefits of modding often outshine the negative that I just explained. The ability to remove the region lock from the console and to change a cartridge's region is incredibly clever, and could be beneficial if you want to purchase a Japanese version of the 3DS, for instance. Modding the 3DS is something that is quicker and easier than it ever has been before, but I can also relate to people that don't want to, as they want to keep their devices as they were when they bought them. If this is something that is of interest to you, there are plenty of resources available on the internet and YouTube that will point you into the right direction. The Nintendo 3DS is a console that I don't believe has aged particularly well, especially when you consider that the new 2DS XL and the Nintendo Switch launched in the same year. Screen resolution is the one part that took me by surprise when I booted up my 3DS for the first time in months. When I grew up playing the 3DS, the resolution was not something I particularly noticed. However, having spent hundreds of hours on the Switch in recent years, going back to the 3DS can be quite difficult as a result of its 800 by 240 screen resolution and the XL model's poorer pixel density. The 3DS had features that the Switch still completely lacks, such as a theme shop, the activity log app, Nintendo eShop music, please Nintendo, I beg you bring the eShop music back, download play, street pass and more. If you don't own a Nintendo 3DS and believe it's too late because the store has shut down, this is certainly not the case. So while I did title this video to be a goodbye to the Nintendo 3DS, it's only really a partial goodbye. I say this because the Nintendo 3DS has lost a big feature, being the eShop. However, that doesn't mean there's nothing you can do with the device anymore. The device will not be lost to time, as there's a great collection of physical games that you can still buy, as well as all the downloaded games that we've already bought up to this point. The 3DS is still going to be a console that all new handhelds are compared to, and I really hope Nintendo adds some of its features to whatever is coming next. You can tell the 3DS range was built by Nintendo, as the typical Nintendo charm is found everywhere you look. Whether that be in the music, the characters in the games, the Miis and more, the Nintendo Switch has somewhat lost this Nintendo charm, and this is why I constantly find myself coming back to the 3DS for more. Thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps out our channel. On top of this, be sure to leave a comment explaining what you think of the Nintendo 3DS and the eShop's closure. What games did you use to play on this device, and are you still going to be playing it in the future? Let us know, I'm interested to read them. This has been Joe from Techno, and I'll see you in the next video.